Yo! What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope you're all doing well. Feeling the good Friday vibes. It's Feedback Friday. We get to listen to each other. This is always fun. I mean, really, that's what makes today fun, right? Paul, welcome in. First today, and thank you so much, homie. 16 months in a row. Holy heck. Man, we've been going steady for a while. Heidi. I think you guys tied there. Cloudy-ish Maryland. It is actually like just flippin' gorgeous today. It's like little wisps of white. Nice, crisp, cold blue day today. Yeah, it's just freaking gorgeous out there. It's really nice. Cloudly bee. Saf, welcome in. How are you? Happy Friday. Zeep, good day to you. How are you, man? Tom's here. Masters by Iggy in the chat. Bunch. Salutations. Recluse Sounds. Welcome in, dude. Happy Friday. Whiskey. Post it wherever you like. I should delete the subscriber only one. We don't really do that anymore. Maybe I should have a public feedback and a private feedback. Give people one place to send the private ones. Blackberry Jam Studios, welcome in. Good sir. Happy Friday to you. Good meeting you face to face earlier this week as well. Thank you for making time. Oh, and I've got codes for you guys too. Tom, yeah, no skipping, no Streamlabs skipping. Right? When you use their plugins for whatever reason right now, there's all sorts of pops and skips and stuff. But this is super floaty, so good intro. Paul goes hard. Yes. Nice down in Florida. Very cool, very cool. Oh, dude, Zeep, nice, man. Damien is a freaking legend. He's a champ. He's a beast. You're going to glean so much from that guy. He's such a good human. Whiskey's got a link in the race already. We'll dip over to the Discord here in just a moment too. Hey, Tremties. Tom saying, it's dark where I'm at, but weather has been less torturous. No more 93-degree weather for a week. Oh, man. Oh, Tremties. I was actually finishing up my thought to Blackberry Jams. Haven't had 2 cups of coffee yet this morning, so... I actually had early phone calls and a meeting and didn't have the big team meeting this morning. Thought I was getting off the hook. And they got really busy and got sidetracked and realized that like my morning cup of coffee was sitting there and it was like 3 or 4 sips out of it. And it was pretty cold at that point. I was just kind of looking at it like, oh man, you were what I needed like 40 minutes ago. Yeah, Damien's awesome. Yeah, Paul and Heidi on the show a couple days ago. That was so awesome. Thank you both for being here. That was really great. Zipa saying, you two are def my fave music streamers. Great taste and incredible knowledge and just 2 of the best dudes. Oh, well, thank you so much, man. I know I can speak for Damien when I say that we're really glad to have you around too. You always bring such really good energy, you know? It's awesome. 0 degrees outside right now for Blackberry. Holy heck. Moose and Squirrel. I really like this. Can we like make that official? Can you guys, I don't know, do something, release something so we can call you Moose and Squirrel and start, like, we've got to have a graphic for you guys on this channel, right? Some kind of command where something awesome happens. Moose and Squirrel. We could always put up like a Bullwinkle in the meantime, right? Heidi is Purple Squirrel. Claim, got the squirrel. Two Norwegian winters is enough for a while. Oh, yeah, weather affects you so differently after you've made it around the globe. I'll tell you what. Cryo, thank you for the follow. Paul, thanks again for the sub. Neo, thank you for the follow. Jarvis Land, thank you for the follow. Yeah. It's all about the timing, right? So you got to get in at the very beginning of the class cycle to make it all work, right? The squirrels, like the Ramones. Call me Marky Squirrel. Oh, man. Yeah, Zeep, keep us posted and let us know how it goes. I'm sure that there are other folks in the community that have considered the Beats Accelerator and Mix Accelerator. Do your best. Do your best. So it's Feedback Friday. So let's go see what you guys have been posting. And who was it? It was Whiskey, right? Posted up in here. To the Discord. Hey. Recluse and Cry over here. Nice. Quick reminder. Everyone who is currently subbed gets a free sound pack every month. I swapped out the sound packs this morning because we did the community challenge in the last stream, the voting for it. We crowned winners. Well, a winner. Trailer. Music by Trailer in the chat. I don't think Trailer's here yet. But usually stops by on Fridays. Anyway, big ups to Trailer and big ups to Iggy for sliding into second after like just putting something together, completely wiped out after a big move and COVID and the return to family and stuff. Big ups, big ups. Cardio party for the first time. Rico solo for the first time in the community challenge. Maybe the second. Uncle Chrome was here live with us, as was Purple Pros. It was good. It was awesome. Cadilius kicked it off with a really sweet track. First entry, first time in the challenge. Saf brought some really psychedelic dubby stuff. Tremties brought some wild. Oh man, it was a good time. It was a good time. Anyway, this free sound pack every month. Whatever you're inspired to make with it, you come back and you submit it by the end of the month to take part in our monthly challenge. And you get another free sound pack just for participating. Everyone who participated this time around just got the Despotism sample pack. So we've got a dialogue theme going on. You can find the Despotism pack over on the store. But if you are currently subbed, link your account between Discord and Twitch, and you will get access to the subscriber rewards channel. All right, so all that done. Let's see who's posted what. Who's down here? Oh, it's Whiskey. We haven't heard too much from Whiskey lately. We got lucky the other day. Let's kick it off with Whiskey. I think we still owe Roku a bit of feedback. So when Roku comes in, we're going to have to let him skip in line. Is this the same one, Whiskey? Looks like it. Paul Lennon. Oh my goodness. Oh. Cryo, go ahead and post it in the public feedback. I think I'm just going to change the subscriber feedback to private feedback and unlock it. Let people post for private feedback when they're not feeling so public. Oh, failing the tape splice quiz in college. Oh man, I had very little adult supervision, reel to reel, razors, scotch tape, packing tape, duct tape. I learned the hard way and the long way myself. Yeah, I got into it at such a young age. I wonder how many things I broke, and I wonder how many things I fixed. Like in my memory, I remember tinkering with things until they worked again and I like really figured things out. But I really wonder what it was actually like, you know, in real life, not through all the filters of self. Oh man, Zeep. Been feeling at a crossroads about my music. I need to choose if it's a hobby or if I want it to be more. So that was how I made my choice. That is a good choice. I'll tell you what, sir. Good choice. You know, it's so freaking important. It is so freaking important to invest in the things that we feel really connected to. Like, I think right now, more than ever, personally, I think it should be a really high priority for people because, man, things are fragile, you know? And if it's something you want to do, then you should be doing it. And if you want to do it at a different level, then chase what's going to help you get there. And just prioritize it and don't heap pressure on yourself with it, right? Just roll with it. Oh yeah. Yeah, Trem ties. Liv comes in, sits down for like 50 minutes or so and almost makes it in the top 3. Absolute beast. Yeah, I'll tell you what. If Liv was to spend a month on something in a community challenge here, we would have to just sit here and listen to it on repeat for the rest of the show. Oh, Holy Beats, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Whiskey this early? Always time for this whiskey. All right. Oh God. Paul. Like George Costanza was screaming, "The humidity! It's the humidity! It's the pool!" Oh. All right. I like Trem Ties' thought here about the subscriber feedback. I'm just going to make that change. Whiskey says, very important question to ask yourself. You can't have career level results with hobby level effort. I think you can if you maintain a focus of quality. Like if you're really chasing something, then I think that you're going to take your time. It may just take you a lot longer. Very different path, but I hear you. All right, let's do this. money is a great motivator for keeping a grind going. More importantly, it comes down to time, I think, for myself and a lot of the people that I've had this conversation with over the years, because it can't be just about money, right? But you need money to survive, and you also need money to like buy the toys and tools and all that kind of stuff. But if you're grinding for 8 or more hours a day on something else, plus maybe you have family or other commitments, right? It leaves very little time for your craft and for it to grow, because it's getting the time that's kind of left over. Unless you have prioritized it in your life. Like you've decided to shift up your work so you can make more time for your craft, right? You still go to work and you do a good job. You've just taken a different job, one that doesn't tax you as much, but gives you in the realm of what you are making. Maybe it's a little bit less. And that's a really good motivator for your craft to actually be pushed out into the wild, right? For a lot of people, it's mostly just about getting over that initial hump of like, can I do this? Should I do this? Will I do this? When will I do this? Right? And like the questions kind of change, and soon it becomes, well, I'll get the next one out because I know I can do better. And I just learned this other thing. And once I start doing that, then those things will be better. So I'll get it out soon. And next thing you know, it's been like 3 years. So yeah, you just got to prioritize stuff. I've been doing this as a hobby for a decade now, right? Yeah. Yeah, doing it for fun, recluse, absolutely. All right, so let's do this. First one up is whiskey. And let me get my text file over here. And away we go. Oh, oh, oh. Whew. Dude. This was good whiskey. This was good whiskey. But can't access the sub feedback. Hey, Seth, are you sure your accounts are connected? All right. Yeah, time is money for sure, whiskey. Absolute. All right, man. I dig this vibe instantly. I would consider, or maybe you could consider, putting some verb on the kick in the intro, just in the intro. Like a whoosh kind of a thing, or I guess maybe make a little whoosh and drop it down, round it out, and layer it with that kick, highly reverberated, like mostly wet. That would be kind of cool. Be nice if it had just the right like tempo of attack, right, or rate of attack. Anyway, I feel like it'd be really cool. And then if that went away, whoosh, when everything comes in, I think it'd be a really cool way to focus the energy and make people realize that it's something different than they were expecting. A little bit quicker. 105, that formant synth, and again with the big bass that comes in later. I think, well, actually, I think there's a few different things in this mix that you could be playing with this idea, because it's the, like, you've got the dubby, like the heavy dubby vibe, which usually involves, you know, like the long delays and reverbs and whatnot. But putting small bubbles of reverb around basses and then saturating it in different ways, and some comb filtering in just the right places can bring this kind of metallic spaciness to it, like this kind of shiny edge to everything. And I think that this is one of those tracks that's absolutely ideal for it. Anyway, it's something to play with. And I think that at 140, I think you could use a little extra space and texture in the transition. Like not a typical riser kind of a thing, more just a full, I don't know. I'm feeling like a morphy, twisty kind of like a whooshy kind of transition thing. That's why I was thinking maybe if you actually layer a few different things together, maybe one of them is reversed or something, and they're all run into a bus that's got a nice creamy verb on it. But basically, yeah, just a little bit more spatial play over the top of this thing. Man, that bass at 2 minutes, just it really hits. That's awesome. A little bit of volume balancing, I think, to do, and maybe just a little bit of movement, pan movement, to help these characters. Like you've got 3 or 4 sounds there that are really unique, and I feel like they all each have their own kind of character, but in a couple of spots they're so close to one another, both volume and position wise, that they kind of not run into each other, but they don't feel like they have the kind of separation that maybe they should. So it'd be kind of fun to play around with the idea of actively moving those guys a little bit in volume and position to kind of focus our ability to focus on them. Anyway, some thoughts to explore. I hope that stuff resonates. Tom, take care, brother. Happy weekend. BlackBerry, that's that's very well said about the hobby effort level. Yeah. Nothing is fine. It needs to be good. Yeah, I feel that too. I feel that too. Patrick, welcome in. Happy Friday. Paul says, for what it's worth, I can highly recommend my current gig, which is retirement. The low pitch roster vocals on this, that man, yeah, absolutely. Oh, you have a newer version where the basses actually have variation after the second drop. Got it, got it. Yeah, that is a heater, huh? That's good stuff. Mm. Ha, whiskey. All right. Well, hey, great minds. Yeah, I think that like inevitably you end up there, right? All right. Next one. Oh man, there's a line. All right, is Roku here yet? I don't see him yet. Okay, cool. So, Chakra DMB, you are up. This one is called Clouds. Woo! Nice. Nicely done, Chakra. I'm not sure if you're in the house right this moment, but for the VOD, I'm thinking the verb on the Vox, I think in the very intro bit, in the early intro bit, I think the decay can be a little bit slower, and it would really enhance that kind of suspended kind of drag effect that the synth is giving there. I think it would really just kind of bolster that. I really, really like the vibe. That open hat noise bit that you've got there, I think it could come up in the mix just a little bit, and maybe just shape the attack a bit more so it feels a bit more like a sloshy hat, if you will. And then I think it kind of comes into sync with the kind of drag suspension kind of feel that you're already building there. I think that that atmosphere riser, the noise riser, the long running one, the kind of crescendos around 220. I think it could have some movement as it's developing, some kind of undulating movement. And then the synth that comes in right after that, I think it can have a little bit of filter modulation as well. I think it would give it kind of this folding kind of a feel. And then the verb that you've got on that block, or whatever that hit is, I think it can be modulated as well. And it can even just be like a filter mod or a volume mod, just a really slow rate LFO, so it kind of just twists off as it decays. I think each one of those things would help them fit into the aesthetic that you're creating here. The individual aesthetic of each is fine as it is, but they don't plug like fully into what's the bigger thing, the ethos. So yeah, that image is awesome, by the way. All right, Jax is up next. This one is called Don't Got Enough.
Nah, I ain't got no kids yet, but this right here's for practice. I hate to get the seats in the bins wet, but that's how good your ass is. Make an old man get his glasses, make Wesley pay his taxes, then follow your moves all week on Twitter. Probably make a gay nigga reconsider. Pop, bitch, that's that shit I don't like. I got a bad bitch, yeah, that bitch right. Smoke all day, all night. You know Reggie, that's that shit I don't like. Got a fucking Audi, that bitch on white. Pull up on your bitch, that shit going right. So surprised, yeah, I didn't go sight. Pistol toe, and then I'm shooting on sight. You're now rocking with the best, man. Dress game down to the sex game. Won't brag, but the boy been blessed, man. Let you play with the stick, Ovechkin. She calling, she texting, she's falling. But let me explain. Gotta tell your old boyfriend skate, girl. Cause a nigga don't play them X games. Nope. Straight sexing, no handcuff or arresting. And I ain't coming off on my last name, cause I really can't take no stressing. About where I done been, who I done hit. Your whole girl saying he a bad boy, but I'm signed to the rock, no time for the gossip. Bitch, put down them. A bitch, nigga, that's that shit I don't like. Sneak this up, that's that shit I don't like. Don't like. A snitch, nigga. Glow, try, cold, hotter, either way out in London town. Hoes holler cause they love my sound, and I got love for the underground. Quality, Pimp C, H-Town will bung it down. Met a bad bitch that'll cut all night, that'll suck all night. You just cut off flights. Almost missed my flight, trying to get my last little nut. Alright, she be down for whatever. Whenever I wanna get up in the guts. Alright, never fuss or fight. On the ground trying to find this headache. I love it when you give me head. I hate it when you give me headaches.
There's a lot of stuff to really, really like about this one. Really well delivered, really solid mix. There's a couple of spots where I think there could be greater separation between the vocals and the music. There's a little room for a transition effect here and there. But really, I mean, this is solid. This is solid. No, we have not done cryo yet. Looks like people are checking you out, cryo. Yeah, Jax, man, I don't got a lot for you here. I mean, this is really, really good. It's solid. I would say the only like real room for improvement on it, because you don't want to do much more with any of the music with like mixing or processing wise, because your lyrical work is fantastic. So I would say find a little bit better volume balance between the vocals and that backing music, and it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good, and a couple of transition effects in there too. I think it would really fit the modern production vibe you've got going on there. All right, so next up is Saf and XFAM. Welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Trump Ties is saying miss a little high end on the vocal. Loving the weird pitch stuff. For some reason, the second verse comes through cleaner. And Heidi says tacos. All right, so Saf says here, I am still working on this reel, but I'm trying to aim for something a little more in the modern sound design approach over the other sound design reels I did a few months ago. I hope you can give me some nice advice for this today. All right, cool. Let's check this. Oh, I need access. Let's do that one again. Oh, and I don't need to be. Okay. I will wait a little bit. No problem, Seth. Just let me know when you want me to scroll back up there. All right, this next one is from Zeep. He says, I'm stuck on this one. I feel like it needs a few things, too loopy, but I'm not sure what right now. I'm open to any ideas, kind of long, so if you want to skip intro, outro, no worries. Also, not mixed really, but would love to hear thoughts on that as well. All right, so here we go. It's a good vibe. Yeah, as far as where to go next, you know, you're doing some nice things with some really minimal vocal stuff. You could put in some, you know, some like legit top line vocal dialogue stuff for people to focus on. You could tell a story. You could put a little shiny top line ARP in there, or two, right? One that's playing kind of like a counterpoint, or like call and response. Just more dynamic range in both volume and complexity could also kind of seal the deal here. Anyway, let's scroll up to the top. That pulsing bass, I'd probably vary the velocity more so it feels more throbby than it does right now. At 1 minute or so, I'm feeling that the sub is just too hot in the mix. It's just too much. It's pushing against the other sounds. And you can just kind of feel it. And that's where your sidechain ducking, your compression ducking is happening as well. And those two things combined, it kind of builds up this pressure. You could tether a little bright white noise layer or something light and airy to that same rate of pumping, right? And you could get just a little bit, and then put a nice creamy reverb on it, and you could get this nice little kind of top level atmosphere above the whole thing, which would probably feel really nice. In fact, if you did have that, then the the idea of bringing in some kind of shiny top line ARP would also work well with that. 230 mid lows are muddled just a bit here in the backing elements. The kick is really strong. 255, lots of moving pieces here. I like it, and it's spacious. Makes more important to EQ every element, though, in the lows. Make sure you're avoiding competition and congestion down there, because it does get a little thick. 345, after that big buildup and release, it'd be great to eliminate one more kind of steady element in there, a pad of some kind. Just have it disappear completely and then have it slowly come up over the next 4 or 8 bars or something like that. I think it would give an even deeper sense of release, and it would kind of help with the dynamics as well in the overall thing, just to have a bit more valley floor depth. That way your higher peaks feel really, really high, like you've really attained these points rather than, oh, it went up a bit here, right? Like this feeling of ascension and just like this dramatic fall. Those things feel good because the reverb and delay kind of carry over in those moments, and it's a lovely feel, right? 345 would be good for more. Oh wait, I already did that one. Sorry. 423, space for transition effect here. Nothing too big. As far as what else could be added, like I was saying, something up top and shiny. I really do like the processing work that you've done on the vocal samples that you've got there. The kit is a bit clicky. You know, it might just be that it's a little hot as well. But a volume balance will happen. I mean, Zeep was saying it's not even mixed yet, so not really. Hey, Trailer's here. Welcome in. Trailer is the big champ of the music challenge this last time around. We'll see if we can get him on the show or not. For those that missed it, you can check out the VOD. It was great. It was great having Paul and Heidi on. Kid Cudi, Pursuit of Happiness. Love it. Nice, nice. Piano top line on top. Yep, yep. Absolutely, Zeep. Yeah, it's hard not to get sucked into the mix when you hear the stuff, right? And you just want to identify those things because they're there. Oh no, Heidi, don't get sick. Getting sick sucks. Snort a line of vitamin C. Oh my goodness. All right, Recluse is next. Says, here is something I'm working on, still mixing and tweaking. Feelings full is what this one is called. And away we go.
I feel like I'm flying now. You touch my hair, you make it so delicate. You give me peace of mind. You take me high, and now we never again. I don't know how, but now I'm healing. And it feels like you make me wanna show my feelings. I don't know how, but now I'm healing. And it feels like you make me wanna show my I feel like I'm flying now. You touch my hair, you make it so delicate. You give me peace of mind. You take me high, and now we never again. I don't know how, but now I'm healing. And it feels like you make me wanna show my feelings. I don't know how, but now I'm healing. And it feels like you make me wanna show my feelings. I feel like I'm flying now. You give me peace of mind. I don't know how, but now I'm healing. And it feels like you make me wanna show my feelings.
Here we go.
The number you have dialed is not available at present. Please leave your message after the beep.
This was fun. This is good. That like the feeling of restraint of like holding back in the very beginning is really good. I love the fill. That transition effect right before 1 minute. Maybe layer in another one. Both the transitions, I felt like, oh man, I wanted it to be more. Those drum fills are really great. I think that you can kind of crescendo those up more drastically. Your ability to really focus energy in your sound design and how you're delivering it is really, really brilliant throughout this thing. 118, 120, maybe toss in a reverse build up there too. I'm not sure what exactly. Like maybe if there was like a, I don't know, like a block clap in a big reverb or something like that, like a pow, right? And you print that and you reverse that, and you cut it off really sharp at the end, right? So that transient is just like smack, so it just, right? Be kind of cool there, like kind of a suck back effect. 124, maybe just a little bit longer verb wash on a couple of elements after that drop or at that drop, so it just kind of hangs just a little bit longer over the top. And it'd be cool to play with modulating the EQ on the vocals when they come back around 150 or so. Maybe just like eke out a little bit of the mids, lows, and scoot back up again. I think it would feel really good in the delay and the reverb to feel just like little splashes or pulses of warmth go through it. Again, at 220, I feel like there could be just a more drastic change in power. Both those cool drum fill transitions. At 248, I feel like you have a little bit of room, especially with the, you know, you've showed us some stuff with your drums and your sound design. So hearing just like this normal kind of pumping, I want just a little bit more, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And you could play with like a little bit of stuttering or smearing or something in those, like maybe just modulate slightly the rate of the pump. So it's altered in some way. I think it would feel good. Seago, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. All right. I think Saf is probably about ready. Saf, you about ready? People are liking this one. Zeep says, makes me feel stuff. Trumtai says, maybe some reverse reverb kind of stuff before every second line. Not anything crazy, but like super subtle. The phone ring was a yes. Yeah. Yeah, Cryo, I agree. Really fun track. Absolutely, see. An older artist called White Zoo. I'm not familiar. I'll have to check him out. Seago, yeah, of course. Sure thing, man. You can send it over. Saf will be back soon. Okay, cool. Let's check out what Tremties has. He says, okay, this one is a short one, but I'm working on this vocal synth mix kind of thing. Another teaser for some upcoming stuff. I know I need to find that sweet spot for the vocals simultaneously with having the EQ for the vocal kind of mirror, contrast the synth so they don't clash, but for some reason, it's still a bit muffled and drowned. So I might not have nailed that yet. How can I make this more crisp and present? By the way, it's all I need part is just filler for now. It will have its own channel in EQ once I've got this thing down. Okay, cool. So this one is from Tremties, and it's a quickie.
It's all I need, yeah, all I need, yeah. Faster, funky. It's all I need, yeah, all I need, yeah.
Okay, so you're close. I think part of it is balance between the wet and dry, okay? Because having a little bit of the dry in there helps with the articulation, but you don't want too much of it. Part is the frequency which you are targeting, right? The focal frequency, which using something like a formant filter or something like that could really help. And then saturation and movement. It's really about the movement part that's really going to seal the deal. Like when you listen to a lot of these things that are really great, one of the things about them pretty much invariably is the movement. The movement happens at just the right time. And it speaks to us, quite literally, it speaks to us. Like, these are the types of movements that we consider like really vocal. So one of the easiest ways to get there is to use some kind of signal follow, right? Like, well, like in Rift, for instance, I was playing with that earlier. If you have some kind of distortion that has like a follow, where you can actually track the volume coming in, right? And then just tether that to something, right? Whether it be the filter cutoff or whether it be the frequency position in a vocoder or whatever, right? It could be the amount of saturation being applied. And then you follow the same rate. The same modulator would also control the frequency shift as well, right? The filter sweep or whatever. Those things combined will get you there. As far as the muddiness or like the thickness that you're not wanting, how did you put it? Muffled, drowned. Cuts, not too drastic, and in just the right places. What are your EQs that you use? Oh, hey, look at that. Plugin Boutiques Freebies is the audio things, the orb. Check it out. Yeah, there's a few different format filters that you can use that are great. OTT is something that would really like cut through this process for you because multiband compression is going to help you kind of isolate things and accentuate things a bit more surgically. But the nice thing about OTT as a quick solution for something like this is that you've got upward and downward compression working in there. So you can focus your energy on the upward compression, which would really help open those things up, and then instead of clamping down. And right now it sounds like things have been clamped down instead of opened up. So that to me feels more of like an upward versus downward type of thing. So I would try that. And it's the mid frequencies that you want to emphasize. So if you were to toss on something like OTT, you just want to make sure that you've got your downward taken way down, and your upward is still, I mean, it's going to be a little less than 100% probably for something like this. But anyway, you're not going to tamp down very much. You're going to try to expand. You can accentuate your mids, and don't really get too heavy with bass, and take your highs way down. So this is your downward versus upward compression here, or upward versus downward compression. And then this is your volume or your output of each. So you can mix them back into each other, and it might look something like this. And then you might, take just a little bit off the depth so it's not touching the entirety of the sound, but, massage it a little bit and focus your energy on the mids, and I think you'll get there. Movement, though. Movement. Standard FL study. Oh, right. Okay, cool. OTT is already on there. TTO. You want your highs down. Well, not too much, but you do want to focus on your mids, because that's where the majority of the formant character comes from, and the articulation, like the clarity, the throatiness, if you will. And then again, just the modulation. So like if you have, I'm trying to think of another formant filter. That would be good. Man, names of plugins are escaping me right now with format filters. The FL EQ is not dynamic, correct? But there's a modulator, like there is an open LFO in FL, right? Yeah, a little alter boy. Yeah, you do, Zeep. You are absolutely correct if you have Serum. Oh, there you go. Format shift with Edison. And yeah, TRD Nova is good as well. And Melda does make pretty decent stuff. Absolutely. So you've got options. But the real trick there is then is to move it, right? Don't put it in one spot. Move it, and it's got to move with your stuff. But don't try to get too tricky with that. Like start with the balance of wet and dry with your vocoder. If you have there's a vocoder in the free guitar rig, I think. And isn't there a filter like an old Evox style filter in FL? Or maybe I'm thinking of Cubase. I can't remember. I don't use those two, so I can never remember. Yeah, don't get too crafty with it. If you're not feeling like you're getting there easily as you're turning the knob, then it's probably not the thing. So don't go too far down any of the more advanced rabbit holes. Start with the simple stuff first. Movement is going to be your friend. And saturation. Yeah, Imelda's pretty good. Oh, boom, right there. Man, Tremtai's been using FL for 10 years, didn't know Edison could do format stuff. That's awesome. You know what else can is Kontakt, right? So you can put that into Kontakt and put format filters in place as well. And you can get Kontakt for free, the player. Blackberry, take care. Thank you for spending so much time with us, homie. I'll see you on the flip. All right, so next up, Cryo. We are here. Forgot to write something. Hi, I'm Cryo. I am a dubstep and experimental bass producer. I love experimenting with sound and rhythm and pushing the boundaries. This is a work in progress that I'm excited to finish. Any feedback is welcome. Cryo, welcome to the mix, homie. Let's do this. Okay, so I actually want to back up and go to a couple of spots specifically here. This is good stuff. This is good work. So I think that the metallic hits here, I think that they could be coming up as well, kind of give it this kind of lurk kind of feel. And then maybe if there's like a metallic slide or scrape or something like that layered in at that transition point, I think it would be kind of game over for that intro bit. Okay, so right here, I'm not sure if I'm down with the complete, like the hard duck all the way down to the floor, in the odd meter. But if it was like 90 or 95% of the way there, I think it would feel better. There's also a couple of modulators, tucked into a couple of the elements here that I think are kind of running counter to like your standard 4/4, right? Like I think like maybe a couple of triplet LFOs or something like that. And there were a couple of points at which it kind of shakes the groove, I think a bit more than it should. Yeah, like some of those hards are great. So maybe if you just kind of varied the depth of that ducking, maybe it would feel a little bit better in there. So there's this spot right here where you've got this like tape stop and you've also got this reverse and a couple of other things there. I think you might want to spread those out in the mix just a little bit more, those maneuvers, because each one's actually really cool, right? And the sounds that you're playing with are really cool. But when they're all stacked up 1, 2, 3, 4 right on top of each other, I'm not sure you're actually giving enough time for the appreciation. It is a reason for someone to come back. Anyway, just something to consider. It's a little bit heavy right here. Yeah, it could just be like one less kick and cut or something. That's awesome. This little bit right here. Yeah, there's so much ear candy in here. Okay, so the other thing that I would say is going back through the mix and making sure that you're like meticulously EQing the low and low mids in every single element that is going to be popping off at the same time or in close vicinity to more than 2 other sounds at any point in time, because there are a few different spots in here when there's multiple sounds piled up where your mid lows and your lows are just a little bit muddled, and it does take away that kind of edgy focus that you have elsewhere. And then right here, I think that there's just a little bit of general volume mix. I think you kind of have to pick the leader, the hero here. Right now, you have a few different elements that are all kind of near the same loudness. And if you had greater separation between them, you're going to feel this moment a bit more. It's going to feel like this kind of, I don't know, not necessarily sinister, but it's going to have a more defined feel instead of just like this general aggressive feel. That's awesome. I think a very small transition effect there you've got space for. Yeah, this is really good. Now, when you get the vocal sample in here, I think you should have a little bit more separation between the vocal sample and the bass work. All that said, this is really freaking great. And I'd love to hear more from you. So I hope you keep coming back for more. Hey, Ricky's here, trancing your pants. Zev is in the house. What's up, Will? How are you, man? Alu is here. Fire phasers. Oh, there you go. Recluse is throwing out the offer of a collab. We've got a little space for collabs. If you want to be working with other people or have the chance to, you can post stuff in the public collaborations and holler at the people in there and let them know what you're all about. C++ and juice. Yeah, Seago. So I'm happy to check stuff out. I just want to know you before I install stuff. I check stuff out for people all the time. I'm happy to help you if I can. Yeah. Ricky says, ever since I switched to phones, I haven't been able to get this Steam to work. Anyone know what might be causing it? Other Twitch streams seem to be slow start, but ends up playing. This one just can't get started. I only see the chat. Really? Dude. Ricky, that sucks, man. What kind of phone is it? And are you on browser or app? I'm assuming app, right? XVamp, I'm agreeing with you on this one. Cryo is super sick at ear candy, 100%. You know, Cryo, it sounds like you're one of your superpowers is probably knowing when to stop when you're working on a sound, and I really like that trait. I really, really do. It's a tough one for a lot of people to crack, so. That second drop indeed, right? Oh, man. Cryo, you are welcome. Thank you for sharing. Hey, Ricky's got something. Seago, awesome. And Seago, I don't know if you know all the various things that I do, but you never know where new introductions will lead. I'm always looking for people that are good developers and whatnot. All right, let's see who's up next. We're close, Ricky. We're close. We got a few ahead of you. All right, Claire's is up next. Let's do this. This one's called Patrick Anthony Guerrafreda. Samsung Orange Ringtone, welcome in. Happy Friday to you.
It looks like the strong box was compromised in transit, Oxide. I've got only 11 out of 20 as marked in manifest 7 Charlie Alpha break. 2 of these have significant rips to their hull and are unusable. Over. Roger that, Oxide ground. We'll be in touch. Out. Oxide, Disciple 4 here, over. It looks like the strong box was compromised in transit, Oxide. I've got only 11 out of 20 as marked in manifest. Confirm your key index, Oxide. Sending it. Break.
This is fun. This is fun. Chairs, not Claire's. Sorry for saying Claire's earlier.
Confirm your key index, Oxide. Sending it. Break.
All right, I'm going to needle drop the rest of this here. Hear this outro. All right, so we got the slow fade. All right, so this one is fun. It's got like an old school vibe to it, and I like that. Great samples, not just in the intro, but throughout. I think the claps could use just a touch of saturation, a little bit of weight and thickness and grit to them, I think would sound really, really good here. 140. Okay, so these perks that kind of continue on through the adventure, I feel like it'd be fun to start treating each one of them individually with something, and very, very slowly. So like this very, very small incremental change rate, and over time it's turned into this other thing. Or maybe like halfway through it reaches its crescendo point and it comes back to where it was in the beginning by the end of the song or something like that. But I think it'd be fun to give your listeners something like that to tune into throughout the entirety of the song. It'd be a nice hook. And then that way you don't have to worry about, you know, the feeling like, is this complete, or should I add anything else, or should something be moved or anything like that? Because you've got some other thing that you're playing with that's tying the entire experience together. And you can sidestep some monotony that way too. 235, great gating idea on the vocal samples. Modulate the rate here and there just a little bit instead of just strictly on the grid there. And I also feel like there are parts of it where I wish the depth of the ducking wasn't quite as severe. So maybe even some subtle modulation on the depth. So at points you hear just a little bit of that word still, and other times it's cut off completely. At 430, I think that the transition could use a long form build up and release. It's a big change. So like perhaps over 18 or even 16 bars, and something subtle, right? Something that feels like almost subconscious at first, and just kind of let it build over time. And Seago, first day on Twitch. Welcome in, dude. Just Euro says, my first trailer album is out in the industry. If you want to take a quick look at it, absolute, dude. Sounds like Bass House with Gabber Kick. Dude, Just Euro, that's awesome. Big ups, dude. It was just released a few hours ago. That's so great. How did you release it? Where did you release it? And who did you release it through? Like, what's the download? Tell us what the deal is. Zekar, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Yeah, everybody is digging that song. Seago, it's quite all right. It's your first day. You'll settle in. With Muchas Music, it's a publisher that does sync music. Okay, cool. So the question then is, where are we with copyright and DMCA with that? Like, is that something that we can listen to live here, or should you post it to the Discord and the post your links section too, huh? Zekar, yeah, absolutely. Hit the Discord. The link is right there. And drop it in the public feedback channel. And we will get there. We got a couple more here, and then we're going to bounce, after Zamerits, we bounce over to this link that Ricky dropped. And then we're coming right back to this queue here. All right, so Chairs, hope all that feedback resonated with you and that it helps you take it even further. Next one is XVamp. PX420. PX420. It sounds like the PX420 part sounds like something that's going to make me stronger and higher all at the same time. All right, this one is called Vamp. Let's do this. Okay, this is awesome. Chunky, crunchy, and lethal, I think. This is good. Yeah, so the lufts are way hot. Yeah, Saf, are you back and ready? Then you are next. Okay, so overall, it's crunchy, and there's some resonance in here that you want to sweep out and kill. You can actually hear it a bit sharply in a couple points as that riser, or as that sweep happens at 20 seconds. And if you squish some of that, and you back off your maximization on this, I bet it sounds really, really good. Right now, it feels overly aggressive, which is what you're going for, right? Like it hits the mark. The only downside of pushing the lufts that hard is that the streaming services are now in control of what your stuff sounds like, and not you. And that's what it comes down to. So I would bring it within lufts range. And then, you know, if you release this thing and, you know, you've got a website where you sell this through or whatever, I kick down both. I mean, it's horribly, horribly loud and you don't want to hurt people, right? I'm just kidding. This is really good. So I would sweep it for resonance. Your highs and your mids are a bit sharp overall, but I wouldn't touch them until I brought the loudness down, because it's probably just a byproduct of being too overdriven. The bass is just freaking deadly. In regards to that, your subs below 30 hertz can be wrangled just a little bit. A greater separation between your elements. But again, that would be achieved by backing off of all of that compression, because compression squishes all the elements together. And if you decompress that a bit, they will fold back out. So I really wouldn't touch much in the mix until you change that. But yeah, chunky, crunchy, and lethal. It sounds like a tagline of a breakfast cereal that is like half razor blades and half flakes or something. Zachar, that happens sometimes. Yamez, welcome in. The loves, the loves. Okay, let's go back and find Safs. He had to step away for a minute, but he's ready for his feedback now. So let's do this. He's got a new reel for us to check out. So let's do this. Oh, I still need access though, Saf. Because it's not letting me in. Yamaz TV, what up? Happy Friday. How have you been? You bring us more madness? So can't play it without the library's permission, which I have, but you don't. Yeah. Why don't you do this? Just Zero. Why don't you post it to the Discord so other people can listen to it whenever the hell they want to, and also send me the link in a DM, and then I'll remember to actually check it out. And I'll put ears on it for you. I'm stoked to hear it. And big ups for getting it out, man. This is awesome. This is your first big step, right? This is where it all really starts for you then. Zachar, don't even sweat it. I mean, it's hard not to be nervous if this kind of thing makes you nervous, but seriously, this whole community is full of fantastic people. And we're all here to lift each other up and make each other better. So let's see if Saf's link is working yet. Yeah, here we go. All right. So see how big we can make this. Can I make it bigger? No? Ah, yes. Oh, dude, you know what you need? You need Audio Design Desk. What I would do... What I would do for this one, man, is keep what you have right now and go back in and layer more stuff with each one of the things that you have in your timeline right now. Because here's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing the wing movement of this beastly owl. And that's the of a like that's the top of the sound, but there's no whoosh. And there should probably be some kind of whoosh to this whole thing, because this thing is much, much bigger than you, and its wingspan is freaking enormous, right? And scary. And you're about to do battle with this. And if you're going to thicken up all of that, then you're definitely going to have to thicken up all of your melee sounds, because a wimpy melee sound cannot take down a giant beast, right? So that's the first thing that I would do. The other thing that I would do is when you're working on the sync in this, I would try to lay these things down organically, because right now, for the layers I'm speaking, because right now what it feels like is you found some sounds and you went in there and you lined them up directly on there, which is what you want, right? So use those as like targets, right? Moving targets in your timeline. Open up a sampler and drag in more sounds, each one that you want on a different key, right? Trigger those in real time from that sampler as you're watching, and they don't have to line up exactly. And that's kind of the magic of it, right? Because now you're going to have things that are just slightly offset from each other, which means they're not going to be in direct competition quite as much. And they're going to thicken and widen the entire delivery, okay? So the very first thing is think big, think much bigger, because this thing is much bigger. And because that thing is now much bigger, like its sounds are bigger, the things that you're doing to it to take it down have to be bigger, right? It's all got to be relative. Okay, so like that owl screech right there, you got to blow that up. Like that's got to be put through probably a really, really short form delay, like a very, very short form delay, into a reverb, into saturation. And you might even want to play around with putting compression after all of that, just to really emphasize the fact that this is a beast, right? This is not an owl, this is a beast. So you're using a sword, so you should have some level of metallic character in there, I think. And your guy is jumping around and this guy is jumping around, so you both need footsteps and impact sounds. And something else for the owl, you're getting grunts as vocalizations as a response to impacts, like body blows, and we need more for the owl. And when I say you need these things, you have these things, just more, right? I'm talking about adding more layers, like your footsteps. You've got footsteps. You just need more, right? It's not the right kind of footstep for the environment. You don't need more footsteps if you find the right one. But if you don't have the right one, you can thicken what you have by dropping that same sample into a sampler and then dropping it a few steps to an octave, and see if you can find some weight. Okay, and now drop that into the timeline right on top of your other sounds for your footsteps to thicken them, right? And then make sure that they're put into a space. Okay, that's the next thing, is the environment. So the first thing is the size of the beast, and everything cascades down from there, right? Its sounds get bigger, so all of your sounds get bigger, and now put it all into a space that is like coherently aligned with the environment that is on the screen, which is big and it's cavernous, right? So these are going to be long, distant reflections. There's a crack open in the back of the cave, but it looks like for the most part you're surrounded by stone and breaking down wood, right? So it's going to be pretty cavernous, I would assume, right? What effect should you use for the wings? Oh yeah, okay. So we talked about this, right? In the wings lesson that we did somewhat recently, I would do a sheet personally. I would do a sheet, and then I would probably also use a jacket of some kind, like a leather jacket, and do like a couple of ruffles like that. And like there's the jacket is going to be like the under roughage feathers that are pretty close, right? And then like there's a lot of movement that happens there, and then the whoosh is going to be the effect that the wings have on everything around it, right? Like it's force and it's pressure and it's these like ripply little whips at the end. So we're talking like a big sheet, right? And try going right at your microphone, and then try going off to the side of your microphone. The ones that go right at it are going to bring huge waves of bass noise right directly into your microphone, and that's what's going to give you the whoosh effect, is those really low end bass noise ripples from the sheet kind of cracking into the microphone. And then once that's put into a quality reverb and saturation situation, you're golden. Like that thing is going to set the tone for the entire thing, and whatever sounds wimpy compared to that needs more. So that'll be like your benchmark standard for the entire scene here. And then don't forget, in the end, just to make sure that you put everything into this cavern space, okay? Like a shared reverb for some stuff. There's got to be these late, like high vaulty reflections in there somewhere, or else the whole thing is going to feel a bit dry and flat compared to the visuals. So hope that is making sense, and I hope it helps. What was trying to get the sound of jump sound like it was hitting the floor? Oh, well, this is not, you know, like this is inside of a cave, but it's also pretty dirty in there. Like maybe if you were to put some dirt and sand, maybe even a couple of bark chips on the ground, like if you've got anywhere near your house, like some basketball hoops under like an enclosed area, like an elementary school or a middle school or something like that. Oftentimes they'll have some hoops like under cover somewhere, so kids can still play while it rains. Anyway, go find a spot like that, dump some gritty stuff on the ground, and jump up and down and scuffle your feet there and use those sounds. It'll be great. It'll be great. Or find a giant owl demon and record it. Zameritz is absolutely spot on there. You should always get the best source material you can. You used a blanket for the owl for the wings. Okay, yeah. Now use a sheet for the others, because the sheet is going to be a lot more responsive, right? So you can get that whip effect. You don't want the crack of the whip, but you want all of the force of the wind to go right into that microphone. And that unfurling kind of thing that it has is what's going to force all of those low frequency sounds right into the mic. And that's what you're going to reverberate and saturate. Yeah. You got this, man. Bring it back. Bring it back for version 2. All right. So I think we were about to hit some merits, and then Ricky. Yeah, Zameritz is up. And we've got another one in front of you, Bilbo Ben. This one is called Broken. Dude, Zamertz, you have been on a tear lately, dude. Seriously. I feel like over the past several months, we've been watching you go through something. I don't know if it's all these competitions that you've been doing or what. I mean, your stuff has always been great. But yeah, you're just on a tear right now, man. It's totally different than your last stuff, and it's equally as good. It's really great. Really like this vibe. I love that you kept it so simple in the beginning, and those two little change ups before everything comes in are just so great. It's such good restraint, and yeah, I love your stopping points. Anyway, really hits at 1 minute when everything comes in. Perhaps maybe a bit of long form saturation swells on that bass, right? Because like as those notes kind of start to kind of blur together there, and it kind of forms this kind of like almost drony low end kind of a feel. Wouldn't it be cool if there was just like a little bit of sizzle that came up? And maybe it only happens once in the entire track, right? But maybe it just kind of builds in energy and then it just dissipates. One of those perks sounds a little boxy. Is that a box? Still early stages on this one, only first draft of arrangement. Zamertz, have you ever listened to the books? I can't remember if we've discussed the books in relation to your stuff yet. It's not a box, but I clipped the gain. I mean, I like the boxy appeal of it. I was wondering if you had actually hit a box. I like how organic this one is. It feels like things were played. You know what I mean? It feels like that's really what it is, man. It feels like you're playing lately. You know what I mean? Not playing like you're playing an instrument, like you're playing like you're having fun. Like you're a kid in a candy store kind of playing. You know what I mean? That's what I'm feeling from you lately. It's just great. They are remixed live drums. Okay, cool. So Zamertz, the books. There's a group called The Books, and you need to check them out. And maybe just go down the rabbit hole hard this week. But check them out. No, The Books. The Books. And just enjoy. Yeah, like just maybe don't even make any music for several hours and just listen and clean up around the house or something. It's unique and it's familiar and it's old and it's new all in one. And the short of the long of it is that this guy was in college for music composition, and one of his teachers he befriended, and then they started jamming and they made this band called The Books. And they broke up a few years ago, but they put out several albums while they were together. And it's great because the student was young and energetic and full of ideas about sampling and manipulating recordings. And the professor, of course, is like steeped in this rich classical tradition. And the two of them coming together is just absolutely fantastic. And you have to experience it. All right, on to the next. We got to hit Ricky. All right, here we go. Always good to see your face, Ricky. All right, Ricky is saying, I can't hear anything. I'll check the replay just to see the track is being played. About to start the mix next week. Awesome, dude. I can't wait to hear this thing mixed down. It's awesome. I like the retro kick. And I was very happy when the funky little bits came in at 45 seconds. I'm glad that you're sticking to this because it's fun. It adds a really nice layer of like infectious organic material in all of these tracks. It's great. And I really like the tech drum overlay up top. It's awesome. At 1 minute, 20 seconds, I would accent that transition effect, bolster it a bit. 130, please tell me you're going to hit that bass with some grimy comb filtering and move it around. 2 minutes. I'm really digging the delay on those vocals, man. It's tasteful and yet also hypnotic. Just really, really, really nice vibes. There's several different points where I just wanted to say nice. I want this whole track run through a few rounds of super tasty saturation, please. This is going to feel really, really good on a big system. I have a feeling about it. Around 355, I'm starting to think to myself, I'm feeling more room for ear candy, but not necessarily more elements in the mix in most places. So more processing play during the mix down phase and some shared processing, I think would be really dope. Just a couple of like clever maneuvers that are actually spread out across like maybe 3 different characters in the mix, I think would be really fun for this track, instead of keeping things isolated. And yeah, I just want to reiterate that I'm really liking that you've stuck to these cool, funky little oddities. It's really good, man. I really like where your stuff is heading. Trans OhmLab Express. All right, let's hit the Discord again and see who's up. It is Bilbo Men, 800 MB limit. That's a great name. Oh, man. All right, Bilbo Men, you are up. Let's do this.
Yeah. Niggas got me hot. Yeah. Said. Hey, well that's exactly what the nigga came for. You throwing shots from afar. I'ma meet you at your front door. So hard to be doing what you really meant for if you did. But don't I make it look easy? Don't I make it look good? Hey, now you drink up all my liquor. Come on, what I'm supposed to do now? And you talking all that shit. Now come on, you gon' have to back it up. If I get too high now, sugar, come on, I might never come down. I might never come down. Never come down. Let me get down. Come on, hey you, never come down. No, let me get down. Hey you, never come down. Wanna get down. You might never, ever come down. It took too long to get this high off the ground. Don't run, just stay a while. Come on, can't beat it, can't beat it, can't beat it, can't beat it with the big bad dough. Can't see it with this pitch black Gucci frames on. Let me take these bitches off. Let me get the full scope. Hold up, full screen HD. Let me take another picture. Let me pull it to the pre-show. Whoa, cool beans, that's a whole lot of reefer. Let me help you with the pre-roll. You drink up all my liquor. Come on, what I'm supposed to do now? And you talking all that shit. Now come on, you gon' have to back it up. If I get too high now, sugar, come on, I might never come down. I might never come down. Never come down. No, let me get down. Hey you, never come down. Wanna get down. Hey you, never come down. Let me get down. Come on, you might never, ever come down. It took too long to get this high off the ground. Don't run, just stay a while. Just stay a while.
Okay, well take that, Maybach with a rave at. The bit the trick if you could pay that. A small bit that you could say that, but you rather take your bank to reveal, let her rate that. No tell 'em hell no, middle finger the COINTELPRO, sticking to the real like it's Velcro. What other country can you sell blow? And for less than a kilogram you get an elbow. I'm getting high, never come down. Round up your guy, let me run it down. Soon as it dries, I'ma run to town. I fantasize shooting Trump down, a shot for every black man who got gunned down. By the police with no conviction, so they run round. When we protest, they tell us pipe down. For Trayvon and Mike Brown. CNN wanna make it black white, cause we hit the action with a black light. Man, the sucker act right.
You drink up all my liquor, come on, what I'm supposed to do now? And you talking all that shit, now come on, you gon' have to back it up. If I get too high now, sugar, come on, I might never come down, I might never come down. Never come down, no, let me get down. Hey you, not ever come down. Wanna get down. Hey you, not ever come down. Let me get down. Come on, you might never, ever come down. It took too long to get this high off the ground. Don't run, just stay a while. You might never, ever come down. It took too long to get this high off the ground. Don't run, just stay a while.
Okay, there's a lot of really fun things about this. Bosgar, welcome in. Happy Friday. And yes, you can. You can drop it in the Discord. Yeah, I dig the warbly piano. There's a lot of good stuff in here. All right, so in the end, I'm going to say you need to do a whole volume remix on this. Like, just start from scratch, pick your main heroes. Those are the guys that can come all the way up to like -6, -7 BPM at their highest peak. And then everything else falls in line underneath that. As you're going through and bringing up the volume on everything, start with the low end stuff first, keep it centered. And then as you're moving up in the frequency range, move out in the stereo field and make sure that you're EQing every single element to make sure that there's not too much low end or high end being let through on anything. The only thing with sub presence should be the sub in this mix, right? So there's zero competition there. Back off the compression. Don't put compression on anything unless it actually needs it. And then back off the maximization. And the reason why I say this up front is because this track is dope. It's got legs, and it should be chased. Like, you should finish this and make it the best that you possibly can, because it's awesome. It's got a really fun party vibe to it, and it's a journey. Like, it changes up a few times. That being said, there's not just change ups in what you're doing. There's also change ups in quality and like how it's being presented as well. So where this thing ends is really where you want this thing to start as well. And I'm talking about like with the vocals being so far up on top so you can hear them clearly. But it all starts with a fresh volume mix, right? The perks can come up from where they are. The bass needs to go way down from where they are. The bass needs to be supportive here, and the vocals need to lead, right? And in places, the bass is definitely leading, and then it's in direct competition with the vocals. At 37 seconds, transition effect there. I think that there's actually space for transition effects in a few different transitions like that. And also just in a couple of other spots where you really want to call attention to like some horns coming in, or a change up of some kind that isn't a bigger transition in the arrangement, so to speak. But tossing those things around like ear candy in a mix like this is good. You should feel like you have free reign to do so, to like toss around embellishments, because this is a fun party time song. All right, so more separation between the music and the vocals, especially the bass, and that's going to be fixed through the compression, just letting go of a lot of that compression. The party sample specifically that's running in the background at 150, I think that this can actually come up in a couple of spots when the vocals are taking a break for a second. You can bring that stuff up, right, and just kind of like fill that space with the vibe, right, of that kind of, you know, the conversation and the clinking glasses and stuff. And at 218, this is fantastic clarity on those vocals. Everything is a bit hot at that point, but it's fantastic clarity. So that right there is your benchmark standard for this track. Try and reach that point of clarity for every single element in your mix. But specifically the other vocals, if they can find a way to sit on top of the mix the same way that these vocals do. Study what you did here at 2 minutes, 18 seconds in your track. Study what you did, and then apply what you learn to the other things in your track. It feels like there was some growth as this track progressed. I have no idea how long it took to make this, but that's kind of what it feels like. Yeah, and then the other thing, just as a general statement, watch the LUFs. It's good to hear your stuff loud, but it's not good for the streaming platforms to be in charge of how your stuff sounds. You should be in charge of how your stuff sounds. So that is my feedback for that. And I hope it vibes with you. Hey, Blackberry's back. Hello again. Cranberry. Samsung Orange Ringtone says, this track is mine. By the way, thanks for really constructive advice. I need to really up on my mixing mastering skills. Do you feel like the mix is well spread out in the stereo field? Yes. And I feel that, again, when you're listening to the very end of this, it's better than early. So if we just do a quick A-B there.
So hard to be doing what you really meant for a few days. But don't I make it look easy? Don't I make it look good? Hey, now you drink up all my liquor. Come on, what I'm supposed to do now?
This is really wide. Come back over here.
No, let me get down. Hey,
you have more characters at play over here, and you're still able to hear them clearly. What I would say about your use of the sides and the stereo spectrum in general is don't make too much of the extreme sides. Try to keep, for this type of thing, like the ambience. can be pushed out to the edges. And that's going to, like the party sounds, for instance, would be an ambience element, right? So that would have a little bit more room to just kind of be circulating in the listener's head, right? Because it's in part of the mix that other things aren't really occupying, right? The next thing to consider is whether you're panning things in mix or, if you're panning them in a stereo or a mono fashion, right? Like, are they isolated in one spot, or is there actual stereo spread available to each sound from their pan point? Not everything needs to be in a really wide, spacious spread, is what I'm getting at. And when you have a lot of things out far out on the sides, it can become distracting and a little bit too full. And then you have two focal points, basically, or you've lost your focal point. Your focal point should be front and center, because that's where your vocals are. It's where your kick is. It's where your bass is. It's where the foundation of your music is. The sides are going to be for the things that don't have that kind of gravity to them, right? And the lighter that they are, the further out you can push them, right? And if you think about this, it makes sense, right? These things can kind of wrap around your bass and your low end elements, the things that you want to be a focus. So you want those things to kind of spread out and kind of curl around and help those other things kind of shoot out the speakers. So yeah, that is the feedback that I got for you. And I hope it all makes sense, and I hope it makes you make this even better than it already is. All right, so BlackBerry is saying one poor habit of a lot of people when mixing, they tend to allow too many things to become static as they move forward in their mix. They set a volume and then move on to the next sound, when in reality, until the mix is done, there should be a large number of tiny volume and other adjustments instead of just turning up one thing by a dB. The question to explore: how many things can move by 1/4 of a dB and make then collective sound better? Exactly. That's exactly it. Your music, your projects, not just music, but your projects, like this goes for people working on sound design stuff too, is an ecosystem, right? And an ecosystem can only exist if there's balance and proper respect, right? Everything has a space and everything has a role, and they're all playing off of each other. And treating them as such is so important, right? And I use this analogy quite a bit, but like, it's always important to remember, even when you're working with electronic music and you've never performed on stage, you got to think about what it feels like when you go to a live show and you see the bassist step up to do a solo, and then you see the lead guitarist step up and take a solo. It's not just that a few other players turn down the volume knob on their guitar, right? They physically move their bodies back, and the person soloing physically takes a step forward or a few steps forward toward the crowd, right? There's a change in the lights, and there's a change in the mix, right? And it's not just this thing where it's like BlackBerry's saying, like, that thing's going to come up 2 dB because it's soloing, and the other things are going to come down 2 dB. It's not quite like that, right? It's a much more organic kind of ebb and flow of energy exchanges and respect of the different positions that each character is in that ecosystem, right? And understanding that none of them should ever be in competition, right? They should be in cooperation. That's the holy grail. Yes, instead of just the contrast between the reference sound and the single sound adjusted. Yeah, totally. And you are welcome, and definitely stick around. Quick reminder, while everyone is over in the Discord right now, if you are currently a subscriber, you get a free sound pack every single month, and all you have to do is link your Discord and your Twitch accounts together, and you will gain access to the subscriber rewards channel. A new sound pack was just posted today. It is Santa Conquers the Martians, and it's 250 dialogue samples that you didn't know you weren't going to be able to live without until you have them. We ripped them and chopped them all last year, almost 1 year to the date, actually, during a watch party that we had. We're going to do that again this month as we head into the holiday season here, and we'll find something fun to chop and twist up. But whatever you're inspired to make with those sounds, you come back and you submit them in this month's monthly challenge, and you get another free sound pack just for playing. There are no strings or catches. This is just a bunch of cool people hanging out together, having fun. So it is the subtle art, isn't it, Subfids? That's, yeah. You have recommendations for good budget headphones. Okay, first, what I would do is just in the public room, the lobby, I think is what, or the public lounge, sorry, on the Discord. Ask that question and tag Iggy, IGGY, in that. It really comes down to what are you producing? What kind of space are you in? Yeah, it's kind of tough because headphones are so freaking good these days. You know what I mean? Like there are so many good headphones out there right now. Oh, Heidi says that was her favorite day. And Saf says that day was fun as hell. Well, we're definitely going to do it again. We'll do it this month. And lots of laughs. Yes, Saf, absolutely. It was like a Mystery Science Theater 3000. It totally was. Only live. Yeah. You use gaming headphones? Yeah, which ones are these? The DT770 Pros, and these are biodynamics. I always recommend them. They stand up. They have great responsiveness, great range. They're super comfy, low fatigue. True. But there's lots of others. The reason why I say tag Iggy is because I'm trying to steer more and more people to asking questions for Iggy. He has not been able to be with us in these streams quite as much lately because he's moved back to Singapore, and he's also just gotten over COVID and some other things after a big move. And anyway, he's tired and he's in an opposite time zone right now. And I know that he feels a bit detached from the community. So we should be riddling him with questions and letting him know that we appreciate his amazing and immense knowledge in these areas. What day are we going to do it? Oh man, I don't know. We got to figure out that. We'll figure that out. We'll look at a calendar together or something. You guys can toss suggestions. Happy to field all the suggestions. Okay. This next one is Zekar. All right, this one is called I Miss You. Start. Okay, now I think this is the first one you've ever brought us. So here we go. Oh, what was with that day? What happened? Oh, well, a year ago, it was like the 18th of December last year, we watched this crazy old movie called Santa Conquers the Martians. And it was fantastic. And we, as we watched it together as a big group in the middle of a live stream, I was laying markers down. So we were watching it in my DAW, and I was leaving markers every single time something great was said that I thought would be great as a sample, and then went through and chopped them all. But of course, because we're like stopping and pausing and making all these comments, it felt a lot like Mystery Science Theater 3000. We didn't leave it paused for any period of time, just little bits here and there. So we didn't like break up continuity or anything. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And we've got lots and lots of samples. The sample pack that I put together from that day is 250 different dialogue samples. It's huge.
A Martian? Wowie wow, I'd hate to meet a creature like that on a dark night.
Almost like a real live little girl.
Sure. This is where you come when you're ready to go out in space. It's airtight. You put on your spacesuit and go out through that door. When you come
Drifting around in space.
Our children are fine the way they are.
He is in charge of our space department.
I don't want any Santa Claus bringing them toys and games.
And there's lots of laughing. And there's even old, like, music cues in here. What do we got here? Here's some.
Put up this radar screen, then nobody can find us in space. Pills for dinner.
Pills for dinner. Yeah, so anyway, that's what made the day so fun. It was awesome. Yeah, I should do some late night streams just for Iggy. OhmLab After Dark. Yeah. Yeah, we should do that, Paul. All right, Sekar, here we go.
Yo, sorry I missed your call. Leave a message and I'll hit you back.
Hey, I'm kind of glad you didn't pick up. I kind of just called to hear your voice, so your voice recording was enough. I should hang up. What am I doing? So I feel kind of dumb, but I miss you. I've been thinking about you, and I've been thinking about our love, and how much I miss your touch. I miss being around you, hearing your laugh and holding your hand. I think of you every day. I miss you.
Dude, this is great. What are you talking about? This is great. I ain't got nothing for you, man. Seriously. Like, you get that every once in a while on the stream. Yeah, I know. More phone stuff, right, Trim Ties? Yeah, I love the old cues too. Yes, absolutely. Pills for Dinner is a William S. Burroughs quote. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it is. Good call. You feel like it's missing something. Tell me, if you can articulate it, what do you think it might be missing? Like, what part of it is feeling lacking to you? And I don't know, the build-up drums sound kind of off. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky. The drop, well, okay, so there is a bit of imbalance between the vocal level and the other stuff, but let's listen to it really quick.
I miss being around you, hearing your laugh and holding your hand. I think of you every day. I miss you.
It depends on what this is going into, right? I mean, this is a bit understated, this kind of build up here. But you know what? This entire freaking clip, this is 1 minute of understated. You know what I mean? Like, there's a great deal of restraint being shown here. And every single element outside of the conversation is wholly supportive, as it should be, right? Because the vocals in this are the only hero. Everything else is mood and support. So I need to know what comes next before, like, I need to know in context if that buildup is lacking. You know what I mean? Because I think that it's too easy to fall into the trap of saying, well, the drop isn't as big as it could be. Just in general, like, I hear it a lot. But the drop is only as good as the release, right? Like, the tension that's built is only as good as the release. Like, the two make a whole, right? So we got to know what kind of release is coming, what kind of buildup is this building to. So the drums were what made it hit for me, and the EQ sweeps as well. Yeah. I think that if you're looking for something that could be adjusted in this moment right over here, it would be saturation and mid-band compression on these drums here.
Holding your hand. I think of you every day. I miss you.
It could use a pop. You know, not like as watery and jello-y as that one, but like a pop. I don't know, some kind of like a little, or a snap. But again, I don't know what comes next. So I don't want to put ideas into your head that are completely out of context. One thing that you could play with is if you set up a nice, like if you really wanted those drums to be punchy on the very last note, for instance, then what you do is you solo just them and you bring up their volume to full and whatnot. You put them through a bunch of like really well done multiband compression and saturation to make them really pop, right? And then back off all of that. Like just bring the wet all the way down on that and slowly bring up the wet as you're bringing up the filter sweep on those drums. So now you're actually building power and not just disclosing frequencies, right? Yeah, drops are where I get scared, so my tracks fall flat after that. Subvid's saying, good point, I'll release no tension. Yeah, we need to know what comes next, right? Because it's got to feel good in context. It's got to feel like this was part of the same moment, right? And it's got to flow. So without knowing what comes next, the trick of drops is not that like drops aren't hard, and it's more about how you set yourself up for your drop and what you do directly after that drop, right? So if you wanted to have the most impact possible, usually you want to create restraint. You want to hold back before, okay? So everything is below its potential already. For all the way leading up to this one point, everything has been below its potential, its true potential. And now you're going to build up to its true potential and maybe push it just a little bit over. But then after that, you got to go find a valley floor that's like really, really low. And now find a way to seal those two things together, like just a little bit of creamy reverb over the top, or maybe it's a hard stop and you've had atmospheric effects like this, right? You've got this kind of spacious, floaty kind of a feel, and maybe all of that just goes silent afterwards. Like those are the kind of big leaps that people go, whoa, over. And the reason why they say whoa is because it was dramatic. Like that's it. You're in control of how dramatic something is. And it's really just about, you know, where you want something to finish. Like what is that crescendo point and what point is the point of that crescendo, really. Could also go into an 8 or 16 bar pre-drop too, depending upon what you're doing. Yeah, exactly. Because we have no idea if this is going into bass music or if it's going into a lo-fi beat or what. Like we have no idea. So it is great foreplay, says Subvids. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Awesome. Tremtai says, music isn't scary. The fear of what people think of the music you make is scary. So whatever you feel, man, get it down, and then you can form that into something that you feel. Writer's block sucks. But writer's block, because you're unsure about your skills, is even worse. So just go for it, dude. It's really good advice. It's really hard to step past those moments until you're past them. It's hard to see how easy it was to step past them. It's like going out on a big trip for the first time all on your own. The hardest part is buying the ticket. And then once you do, you're screwed. Because you spent all your money on that ticket. Now you got to go, right? And then once you're there, you realize, man, I should have done this 6 months earlier. You know what I mean? Like it's the same kind of thing. It's just a fear. It's just a fear, and fear can't hurt you. You just got to do it. And the best thing you can do for yourself, man, is play and give yourself variations, and then give yourself space from it, and come back and listen to those variations, those different options that you put in front of you, of yourself, right? And listen to them with a really, really honest and genuine ear, right? And have a really open, honest dialogue with yourself around those things, right? Because usually when most of us are producing, we don't like jump up and down when we hit something great, right? Our face is usually like this. We're like working. right? And that's like about as excited as we get about some crazy awesome thing that we just figured out. Have like a real frank conversation with yourself, and, you know, do it when no one else is around so you can talk out loud to yourself or something, you know, just to put the words out into the universe, if you will. Anything to help you get over those first few times of feeling that kind of fear of like, or, you know, we shouldn't even really call it fear. It's more of like a hesitation or a hesitancy, but that's what kills any solo or organic moment, is the hesitation, right? Is the unsureness. So the only way to be sure is just to try it and compare it to other things. So get through one idea. That idea is going to spark another idea. Get that idea out as well, and get them all out. Get out 4 or 5 or 6, and then see what you think. And give yourself some space, because if you give yourself a couple of days or at least a handful of hours or something, and then come back to it and listen to it fresh, you're going to have some thoughts and opinions and feelings and feels about all of it. And the other thing is, when you do come back to it, do it in a different place. It's like magic. Like put it into your headphones and go for a walk outside. Don't do it inside in the same space that you made it. Listen to it out of that space. It'll give it new context. It'll shift your perception of the whole thing. Yeah, it is hard not to overthink. Yeah. Okay, so Zekar's saying, I feel that. Hard not to overthink. Anxiety hurts me, man. I just got to get more comfortable with myself in this passion. Well, that's just it. Like, this is love, right? Like, let's just be totally weird and frank about this for just a moment, okay? Your first love is messy. Like, you don't know what the hell you're doing, right? Nobody's a great lover right out the gate. Like, you gotta figure out your moves and your maneuvers and all that stuff, man. You just gotta. It takes time, and getting messy and being really vulnerable with yourself is the first step to getting messy and vulnerable with other people, which is where the growth starts to come from, right? That's kind of what it's all about. So, but yeah, man, it's tough. Keep coming back. That's all I got to say. Keep coming back. Participate in the monthly challenges, and collaborate with some people. Anytime that you do something for the sake of releasing it, not releasing it like on a label or something. I mean, letting it go. It's like going fishing, catching a fish and putting it back in the water, right? You can fish with that fish again. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many opportunities for growth. The more you can create and release, the better, because that hang up it never goes away completely, right? Because we don't know the outcome and what we're going to think about it long term. That hang up's always going to be there. But the ability to lay out an idea and move on from it becomes easier. Fear hurts, says Heidi. Yeah. Drumtie says, trust me, there's nothing but love here. So if you're unsure, then let us have a listen and maybe we can help you out. Very well said, Drumtie. I appreciate you, homie. Ben is here. Benny, how you feeling, dude? Feedback Friday, baby. And to add to Tremties, your best critics are actually strangers because they have no skin in the game and they can be candid and honest about how your music makes them feel. And you might as well learn this now. Even if you have 60 million fans, the rest of the planet still thinks your song sucks, so move past that fear. Right. Rock, paper, scissors, truth, now, fear. Been looking for an active producer community. No one I know really makes music. Awesome, I found y'all today. Yeah, dude, I'm glad you're here. Glad you stopped in. Make sure you stick around in the Discord so you can keep the conversation going in between streams. Seago also found this today. Man, it's your first day on Twitch. You like just stopped here. You probably had a plan to go around to a whole bunch of different places. You just kind of got stuck here, huh? I think we distracted you. All right, let's catch up here and then finish up the feedback that we've got in the queue right now. We got to close down this queue so we get through everything that's in there. Bowsgar says this is first time on the stream as well. Well, welcome in. There's a few new people here, huh? All right. Well, hey, let's dip back over to the Discord really quick. All right, we've got 2 left. This is just enough time. Seago, you are up. Says, please turn a blind eye to the questionable mastering. No problem. Here we go. This one is called Bread Squad. What? Adventure Club featuring the Kite String Triangle. Wait, what? I love that kind of stuff. All right, let's do this. Bread Squad.
What it could be like, and now it's all set to come back home. You were after nothing I could give. No. Have you ever wondered what it could be like, and now we're standing back on our feet? There's nothing there, so now you want better. And I know I should have held you closer. I know I should have treated you better in a perfect world, but we're not always what we promised to be. You caught my words in mid-air, the silence hung as you caught my arm. Conversations lost away in my mind. Nothing there, so now you want better. And I know I should have held you closer, and I know I should have treated you better in a perfect world, but we're not always what we promised to be. I know I should have held you closer. I know I should have treated you better.
Okay, this is fun. This is good. Very first thing I would say right out the gates is that this is it's pushed a bit too hard with the maximization, the compression, the limiting. And one of the things that gives that away is the sharp highs. Part of what gives it away is that the mids are so squished. because that's what compression does, right? When you're hearing that there is a difference between these sounds, and their position is different, and yet they sound like they're just like right here next to each other. There's not enough space between them, and it's an indication that that everything's been squished too close together, right? These vocals pop at 30 seconds, but at a minute 30, they're completely buried. Right, like completely buried. You can almost barely hear them at one point, and part of it is effect, and part of it is mix. But there's a lot, like the large majority of this is just really nice. So I would say two things: volume mix. Go back and do a volume mix on everything. Pick one hero. Right? You heard me say it before. Just find the one thing in the track that's going to hit that -6, -7 dB maximum peak, right? And then everything else comes up just below it at some varied degree, right? Everything should be in context without compression being applied to stuff yet. And find a really good spot for it. Start with the bass heavy stuff first and keep it in the center, and then move yourself out on the sides as you go up in frequency, right? And as you do that, right, you're also making sure that you're being very aware of the volume relationship between the hero and those elements. And then have a think while you're doing this about how those things might change over time, right? Like, are these things all going to be in the same space at the end of the song as they are right now? Is there going to be a change around the chorus? What happens during a drop? Do things move? That type of thing. And that type of thinking is going to lead to a better mix, because you're actively engaging with all the different things in your mix. The other thing you can do as you're going through is pay just as much attention to the top frequencies as the bottom frequencies in your EQ in regards to how you're cutting and whether you're using a cut or a shelf, right? You're doing a good job of not killing the life force of any of your sounds, but I think you are letting some frequencies through on some of your sounds that could be attenuated a bit. And some of those are in the high end. There were a few different sounds. That pluck is really sharp up top at points. And so an easy way to fix that, I mean, dynamic EQ would be best, but just a really quick example. Instead of just rolling off a whole bunch of frequencies off the top, you could go kind of halfway and then get a shelf in there too, right? And just kind of tap some of those other guys down. So that way, when you're running through like those filter sweeps and you've got a whole bunch of resonance on there too, and it's going through a comb filter, right? So it's got this extra frequency boost. So it doesn't actually reach any kind of pain points up around 7K or above, right? It's all being tapped down as we go into that sound. See how it's this nice gentle slope, right? And then eventually it hits a brick wall. So your EQs for some of your elements might look something like this, before you even start looking at how you're going to shape like any of the accenting of your sounds. And oftentimes, like with the instruments that you're using here, like that pluck, you can get a lot more out of saturation than you can EQ, even a lot of times. Bagel Day. Trimtie says, I feel like that snare is a bit too washed out, but this is insane. The saws are super fat and I love it. There's some glassy high ends in the vocals. What did you record this on? It's pushed so hard because I was trying to get it at the same level as other songs when I played it at college parties. Yep, I hear that. I totally hear that. Yep. Ben is asking, OhmLab, you remember them salmon bagels at City Market on Folsom? Good, I could go for one of those nasty sandwiches. They were decent. Yeah, totally, dude. Oh, man. There's something with the T of better. Is it just because it's well pronounced? There's something with the T of better. Oh, in the vocals. maybe, you know, and I think that when there's resonance and things are being driven in general, sibilants, S's, they're just harsher because you're pushing all those frequencies up. Those are natural pain points. You know, those are natural whistling, resonancy pain points. So as we push them up and push them up and push them up, they're just like annoying us more and more and more. That almost looks like a starting point for your vocal EQs. Oh, does it really? Wow. All right, let's go back and hit this last one here. This one is from Elaine. Let's get this fired up. All right, so this is Bosgar. Let's put that up here. Here we go. This is good. This is good. It's a nice vibe. I like where you decided to stop. You know, you're not at the end of the song. I mean, with your filtering decisions and your the palette that you're working with. I like your stopping points. They vibe well with me. Anyway, I really like the minimal vibe here. 30 seconds when you first introduce that nice horn synth or filtered saw or whatever it is really, really good. And then hearing it carried over to be like a main player in the song was nice. It was good. 106, I think there's space for another transition effect here. 116, I think it might be fun to play with some upward filter ducking on that. I do hear just a touch of it going out, but I think it'd be kind of fun to actually get some kind of like woof, woof, woof in there at some point. And maybe it even swells. Maybe it isn't there and it is there and it isn't there, and then we come out of it or something. I think it'd be kind of fun. Anyway, I think at 2 minutes you can introduce some well, prior to 2 minutes, you can introduce some ear candy, like some little Foley bits of some kind, totally eclectic, and introduce them in some kind of a rhythmic way, and then carry that over when the full mix comes back. And I think it would be a nice little addition. X-Jace, welcome in. Happy Friday. We are having a great day. Hope you are as well. You have found us at the end of our stream, however, though, and we do hope that you will join us again. I like the rhythmic interplay as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys, just a quick reminder before we wrap up here. Number one, I love Fridays because I like when we can hear each other like this. We haven't even touched our DAW for probably the last couple of months on Fridays. Honestly, we haven't made anything on Fridays in some time. You guys are freaking killing it lately. If you are currently subbed, hit the Discord. There's a brand new free sound pack posted today. It's called Santa Conquers the Martians, and it's freaking awesome. There's 250 different dialogue samples in there. Whoever is currently subscribed to the channel gets that for free. Whatever you're inspired to make with that, regardless of what kind of genre or project you're putting it into, you come back and you submit it here for the community challenge, and you will get another free sound pack and have a blast in the process. Those samples were chopped up out of a movie that we watched as a group together last year around this time, and we're going to do that again soon. We're going to have this awesome watch party, and we will chop another sample pack out of it, and it'll be great. Jess or Ace? Okay, cool. Thank you for letting us know. Welcome in, Jess. Really good to have you here. And now we're going to go somewhere fun. Subscriber rewards is where you're going to find your free sound pack. You need to link your Twitch and your Discord account. Once they are linked, you will be allowed in there to grab your download. And if you can't for some reason, just shoot me a DM and I'll get it sorted with you as quickly as we can. Damien Beat Battle's still going. They're still going over there. Well, then let's pop in and surprise them. To the Batmobile. Hold on just 1 second. Let's do this. Thank you to everyone that followed for the first time, subbed for the first time, joined us for the first time today. Appreciate you checking it out. Hope to see you again soon. Everyone else, big love as always. Can't wait to see y'all again on Monday. Enjoy a weekend. Stay inspired. Have fun playing with those samples. We're going to go visit Damien. There's a whole crew of them sitting over there in the middle of a beat battle still. They've got to be getting close to being done here. He's been going. All right, kitty cats, big love. I will see you on the flip. Have a great weekend.
Big ups. Thank you so much, Liv. Big ups, Anthony. And Chris and team, thank you for the raid. Welcome, welcome. You have arrived at the most dramatic point of the epic 5.5-hour Natty Sue beat battle. Our second runner-up and overall favorite, our votes are just in, is Cardio Party. Our runner-up is First of the Year 04, which means the winner of overall favorite, who is taking home the Baby Audio All Plugins bundle, is... Natty Sue, do you have a guess?
I don't have a guess. I have my own favorite, but I don't want to guess. I don't want to guess.
All right. So the winner is I know him, you know him, everybody. It's I know Diganta. Diganta in Hyderabad. Congratulations, buddy. You have won the 92 beat battle. Let's check it out.
Aku